Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? Good to see you all. Can you give me a number one if you can hear me and see me okay? Happy Friday to all of you. I hope you've had a great week. Let's say hello. Ann Palmer from the great state of Louisiana. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Let's see. Salty Dog, what's up? Copernicus, how are you? Good to see you. Emmanuel. Raptor Stacker is here. Michael Eversberg, how are you doing? Good to see you. Village Idiot is here. Selena Neo. Diana too. Happy Friday. Ultra Mega Prepper, how you doing? Good to see you here. Gracious 48. Yarn Preppers in the house. Sleaze Stack or Slee Stack. Be Free, Be Fru, how you doing? Stewart's Prepping. Miss Melody. Let's see. Jonaida, how are you doing? Nostradamus is here. How you doing, Nostradamus? Let's see. JT is in the house. How are you, JT? Good to see you. Overland Gear Guy. I like that. How are you? Ali is here. Christine. Happy Mac. How you doing, Happy Mac? Teresa. Josephine. Dana. Gene Eaton. Crazy Backyard Chicken Man. How you doing? Good to see you. I had to adjust my light, ladies and gentlemen, today. I had to adjust it because I'm getting so dark from getting so much sun outside. I was prepping for this live stream. I'm like, man, AP, you look dark. Been getting a lot of vitamin D this summer, that's for sure. 1 Acre Homestead, good to see you. Butch Graves, Ellis E, Cindy Y, Brandon Willingham, Willingham, yes. Fatima Enriquez, Valerie Aponte Boyley, how are you doing? Bendiciones, igualmente, thank you. Deborah Ramirez, Sherry, how are you? John Baxter, Troll is here. Let me see. Ready, Set, Go 60 is in the house. Don Quest. Ranzo Colo is here. Grateful Preps. We are going to have a giveaway today, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder if anybody won the giveaway from yesterday's video. I have to call the coin shop. I attempted to do a coin shop video yesterday, and it seems that the entire portion that I did, I feel so bad, especially for Jerry and Dick, because it was really busy there yesterday when I went in, and they still gave me a few minutes of their time. And we were talking about what Janet Yellen said about, the reserve currency, being, I guess, drawn down by other central banks around the world. We talked about that with Jerry, and we talked with Dick about how the USGS has stated that there's approximately 17.5 to 18 billion ounces of silver left in the earth to mine. We talked about that, but while I was recording that, it was actually recording, but when I uploaded the file, almost everything that I recorded in the coin shop, except for like maybe, I don't know, a 10-second clip, was corrupted. And I tried to recover, and it was just corrupted, no good. So that video that I put up yesterday, and there was a giveaway involved in that video as well, but it was towards the end of the video. But that video that I put up yesterday should have been about twice as long as it was. It ended up being like a 9-minute video. It should have been like a 17, 18-minute video. That's how much stuff we lost. But we'll get them next time. All right, hopefully we'll get it next time. Grateful Preps, how you doing? Leah, Audrey, Raven, Gene Moyer, how you doing? John Molison, I hope I pronounced that well. How are you doing? Jennifer Lockwood, Joe. Let's see. Rakamas is in the house. Sandra Fryer, KP. But we are going to have one giveaway today, ladies and gentlemen. One. All right. And we'll cover that here in a few minutes. But this live stream is sponsored by Simpure, because today we're going to be giving away one of these air purifiers. All right. When those fires started happening, in Canada and coming down towards the East Coast, they're like, hey, we have a great air filter that filters out smoke. So this may be something that people that live in the East Coast, that live in apartments, places that are getting all that smoke, something that they'd be interested in. And they gave me an awesome coupon code. So they're sponsoring this live stream by giving one of these away. All right. So I actually just plugged this one in today, and it's an air filter, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh my goodness, this is the best air filter that I've ever. No, it's an air filter. It filters out particles from the air. And this one is fine enough where it can filter out smoke from the air. That's what it is. Nothing very fancy, just an air filter at a very good price. And I do believe that this air filter here will do up to, I think, is 1,500 square feet. But they do have bigger ones, and the coupon code that they provided me with is a 20% coupon code, and you can use it in anything in their store. So it's not just for air filters. Me personally, I take that coupon code and use it on a reverse osmosis system because with that 20% off, you're getting a great deal. But that's who sponsored today's live stream, and we'll go ahead and do that giveaway later on during the live stream. But let me finish saying hello to all of you. Keisha Wagner, how are you doing? Good to see you. F. Pierre, Judy, how are you? The crazy Mexican, I like that. Let's see who else. Jennifer, how are you? Stevie McLean, how are you doing? Me Too is here. Good to see you. I was just about to say I haven't seen Jan. Where's Jan at? And there's Jan. How you doing, Jan? Good to see you. Mitch J, how are you doing? Thistle Moon Farm, Aqua Drops. Let me see. Debbie, Jenny, how are you doing? Good to see you. All the way from Montana. Where is the Justice? How are you? Good to see you. Where is the Justice? I'm not sure if anyone has won that giveaway from yesterday's video, but it was an ounce of silver that I left at the coin shop. And on that video, I mentioned that anyone that went over there and bought anything, even if they bought a dime, from the coin shop, and if the coin still had not been gotten from someone, that you could win it. So I'm not sure. I haven't given the guys a call, but I know that video was put up later on yesterday evening after the coin shop had closed. So I'm hoping that somebody already picked it up. Fake person, how you doing? Charles Tabit, how are you? Garden Maddock, Russ Williams, Jackie, ABC Patriot, how you doing? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be your day. I just wanted to talk about something real quick that I noticed yesterday when I was at the coin shop. Jerry and I were actually talking about it a little bit. And I told Jerry, I was like, you know what? Things seem like they're so nice and calm right now. It seems like people are at ease, especially if you stay away from a lot of the, doom and gloom stuff. I'm trying to bring stuff that's reality, things that you can actively prepare for if it does happen in the future. But I was thinking to myself, man, things seem pretty peaceful right now with everything that's going on in the world. Things seem like they've leveled off. Like, the price of food, I don't hear too many people anymore complaining about the price of food, because what's happened, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, of course, this is just from my perspective. What's happened, in my opinion, is that people have gotten used to the price of food as they are now. So the price of food, the price of gas, all of these things that we need in order to live, we've come to realize that it's found a floor, right? So meaning that it's not skyrocketing up like it has been in the past couple of years. It's still going up, but not at as high of a rate. So we still have inflation. It's just not going up as fast as it was in the last couple of years. All right. But inflation will always happen. It has to, in order for the system to continue to go on. All right. That's just a matter of fact. But I was like, this feels like the calm before the storm. It feels like, they're allowing us to get settled into this new reality of the fact that your wages never kept up with the inflation that they created over the last couple of years. And now you are being allowed, ladies and gentlemen, to learn how to live on less. You're being given a break for a little respite, of real high inflation for a little bit, so that you can learn to live on less. And then what comes next, ladies and gentlemen? Remember that any kind of a fiat currency system that has existed in the past has never survived. The fiat currency in question has always gone to zero, and it's something that you can verify for yourselves, right? You can go to the Federal Reserve website. I believe it's called fred.gov. You can go to that website and you can actually type in the value of the dollar, something like that simple. And they actually have charts at the Federal Reserve site that actually show you how the dollar has been devalued since day one, and about how much of its original value there is still left. But you don't even need to go to that site to understand how much the dollar has been devalued. All you have to do is go all the way back to 1913, where $20.67 was the equivalence of 1 ounce of gold. Now, if you take that $20.67 and you divide it into whatever 1 ounce of gold is selling for at any given time, today, let's say an ounce of gold is selling for $1,900, let's say, to make it easy. Well, you take $20.67 and divide it into $1,900. That's how many times an ounce of gold has been priced over the dollar. That's how much the dollar has been devalued. So I know you won't be able to see this, but I'm going to take my calculator out here just to give you that example. So if you go back to 1913, when the Federal Reserve note came out, and an ounce of gold back then was $20.67. So if we come to today, to the present, to see what the value of gold in reference to the value of the dollar, what it is now, we can just take 1900, which is what an ounce of gold is today, roughly. Okay, I know it's probably 1920 or something like that, 1930, and we divide that by $20.67. The this is crazy. The dollar has been devalued against gold about 91 times, ladies and gentlemen, right? About 91 times, because if you take 91.9 and multiply it times 2067, it comes out to about $1,900. So that's how much the dollar has devalued over the last 110 years or so. All right, and it happens to every fiat currency. It's happened in the past to every fiat currency, and it's going to happen to this fiat currency. Right? It doesn't matter who holds it. It doesn't matter what country issues it. It's always going to happen, because a fiat currency is nothing but a paper tiger or a king without clothes. Eventually, people will figure out that king, i.e. the mighty dollar, as mighty as it actually is, because it is, people will eventually figure out that dollar has no clothes. And when that happens, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the day that you are going to be very happy that you've been preparing for all of these years, right? Because that's going to be, I guess, the Super Bowl for preppers. It's going to be the day where you're going to be sitting back at home and you're going to be watching everyone trying to get out of dollars as fast as they can, right? I believe that the dollar still has a long way to go, believe it or not. Some people are like, man, just let it crash already. Let it crash. In a way, I kind of feel that way, but in a way, I don't. And the reason I say in a way, I feel like, hey, just let it crash. Let it happen already. Rip that Band-Aid. Let the dollar crash, and whatever happens, happens. I feel like that's the best thing to do, because it's what will make us realize what the dollar really is, which is a king without clothes or a paper tiger, right? And will hopefully allow us to do a system or renew a system that is just and fair for everyone, not just the ones that sit on top or the ones that have the power of the printing of the press, right? So in a way, it's like, yeah, let's go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off. Let's go ahead and get the pain over with. But in another way, I'm like, no, go ahead and let the dollar keep being what it's doing. Let it keep its power for a few more years, for however long we can. Why is that? Because I believe that the further along that we go, the further along that they kick this can down the road, and the more that people are hurt by this, the more people that will wake up. Because trust me, people are being hurt by this right now. There's a lot of people right now that are fighting just to try to put food on the table. There's a lot of people right now that are making maybe 10% more than what they made 5 years ago, right? But they realize that 10% more that they're making today than they made 3 or 5 years ago, whatever it may be, it's just not enough to keep up with inflation. I'm not sure if you saw the video where I was going over, some of the reasons why it is that we are in a failing financial system. But there was a short story about a lady that was making $19 an hour. And do you all remember when people were screaming for, we need $15 an hour? We need a fair working or a living wage. They called $15 an hour a living wage back 4 or 5 years ago, and people would protest for it and march for it. Well, this lady is now making $19 an hour, well above $15 an hour, and still cannot make it, still cannot pay rent on time, still has to feed her children the cheapest foods that are available. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, eventually this fiat currency system will make it to where no one can afford to live. And once a population has to spend 40% or more of their income on just food, revolutions occur, right? They get very angry, right? They get very angry at a government that they see has caused the problem. And now, in order to fix it, they want you to pay even more. Taxes are going to continue to go up. They have no choice. With the amount that interest rates are going up, and from what I understand, Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve guy, he's saying, no, we're going to continue to increase interest rates. That is going to make banks continue to fail. And eventually, they're not going to be able to bail out all the banks. They're only going to bail out the banks that their friends are part of. Right? These banks that they bailed out here not too long ago, the first couple of days, they were talking about, no, we're not going to bail them out. They're going to be bailed in. But then, ladies and gentlemen, I have a feeling that they figured out, and when I say they, I mean FDIC, part of the government, Federal Reserve, whoever it is that's involved, the Treasury. I have a feeling that they figured out that those banks had a lot of their friends invested in them, meaning that they had deposits in them well in excess of the insurable amount, $250,000. I think that once they figured that out, that a lot of their buddies were there, they were like, okay, we'll go ahead and bail them out. We'll go ahead and use the taxpayers' money, your money, right, to bail these bigwigs out. Because the ones that were bailed out were the ones that had in excess of $250,000 per account. They got bailed out to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. But now that everything has kind of like eased, now that everything's kind of like found a floor, and things aren't going up crazy, it seems that people are now settling into a routine before the next big crisis occurs. And ladies and gentlemen, if you look back at history, whenever there's been a major financial crisis, what happens? We usually have conflict that involves more than one country, and a lot of times countries around the world. So if there's a time in your history, right, or I would say in the last 100 years or so, that people should have been prepping, it should be right now. You should be prepping now as much as you possibly can. Don't make it your life. I love doing this stuff. Okay, so it's no big deal for me. But don't make it your life. We all have to live. You have to smell the roses. Enjoy a little bit of life, right, ladies and gentlemen? You don't have to be a full-blown prepper in order to be prepared, right? All you have to do is just get the basics out of the way, have a plan, have a contingency plan for your contingency plan. In other words, have a backup for a backup. You know, I like to say that having one is like having none, and having two is like having one. But I really think that 27 is a lot better, right? And that's just a little joke. But I really believe in having as many backups as you possibly can. This is the time that we have to make sure we get prepared, because I'm by nature pretty optimistic person by nature, to tell you the truth, but I think I'm more of a realist than an optimist. So you see, I like to be optimistic, I like to have hope, but I like to live in reality. All right. And living with only hope is really not living in reality. It's not seeing what's actually going on. And we're very lucky for the times that we live in. I know I'm just carrying on here, ladies and gentlemen, but I missed you all. All right. I haven't talked to you all for a while, but I think that we're pretty lucky that for the times that we live in, and for what we're going through right now and what we'll be going through, all right, it's going to make history, and it's going to be talked about in 100 years. They'll be talking about what we're going through right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're pretty lucky that we live in the technological world that we live in. Why? Because this way, it's very difficult for us to be kept in the dark. It's very difficult for the population that wants to be informed to be manipulated, right? Because if you go on the mainstream media site and you see something that seems suspect, man, you have at your fingertips, you have the power of researching what they just told you. And you have the power to network and see if what they told you is accurate or true. Right, ladies and gentlemen? So in a way, being that we're going to go through a hard time here for the next, in my opinion, it'll be for the next several years. It's going to get a little bit worse time and time again, until it reaches that apex moment where things just go south in a real quick hurry, right? But that's why we prepare. So there's no reason to be afraid of that happening, because it will happen eventually. But I don't want people to be afraid about that, because that's why we prepare, right? So eventually it'll just keep getting worse and worse and worse. but we know what's coming down the line. We know, ladies and gentlemen, because we have information, and information is power. And we should be using it to our advantage to make sure that we stay one step ahead of all of the things that the people that want to rule the world and want to rule over us are trying to do. All right. I think I might put this video out tomorrow, but it's going to be a very good video about what it's going to look like for us, ladies and gentlemen, if we continue to allow this. You see, this is what I mean about the technological world that we live in, that we have to take advantage of it, right? We have to take advantage of it, right? And use it for our best use case, right? But I'm going to put out a video that's going to show you what it is that 2030 is going to look like for you and me, for the average person, if we allow to happen what they, our overlords, want to do. So, it's actually a very dystopian, future that we have to look at. I'm not sure if we are going to stand up to this, because really, in order to stand up to something like this, it has to be all of us coming together. And I think that there's still a lot of suffering left for us to do before we come together as one people. Right now, we're so divided as a nation and as a world that until we all have to suffer, what amount of suffering we have to go through, we're not going to come together as one. But eventually we will, ladies and gentlemen. Eventually we will, because good always prevails over evil. It just depends on how long it's going to take and how much pain we're going to have to go through. And let's see. You know what? Let me go ahead and bring it all the way down. Let me see if I can spot anyone that I might have missed real quick. Kevin Grip is in the house. How you doing? And ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what. From now on, the live stream belongs to you. So anything that you want to talk about, anything that you want to put out to the community, put it all in caps. And if you have a question, put the word question in front, or the question mark in front, so I can catch it. All in caps, please. And we'll have a good chat here. Let's see. It's only about 20 after, so we still have plenty of time. Let's see. Yolanda Agosto, how are you? Scott Hummer, good to see you. McBean, how you doing, John? Good to see you, brother. If you didn't watch that video that I put up last night, the chicken coop, I think, will be done by this weekend. So by this weekend, I should have all the walls on the inside done. I should have the door done. I think I'm going to make my own door for the chicken coop, because I really don't feel like paying like almost $400 for a door. And I could probably make one that's a lot better insulated by making it myself than buying one that's, an exterior door that's insulated, but won't have near the amount of R value than one that I can make my own. Yeah, I went and priced doors for the chicken coop. I was like, I couldn't believe it. It's like almost $400 for a door. And it's not even a 36-inch wide. It's a smaller one, like a 32. So I was like, man, I talked to my wife. I was like, man, that's a lot of money for a door. I can probably make one for, I would say, less than $100. I can probably make one that'll be very well insulated. Let's see. Patsy Blackwood, how you doing? All the way from Alabama. JRC Homestead, 1 Acre Homestead, T Nova, Dingus Chubb, Nita Love, how you doing? Zim, how are you? Chris Porter, how you doing? Outlaw Farms, Nancy Floyd, how are you? Lil Mama Rogue, how you doing? John Baxter, how are you doing? Let me see. Braided, how are you doing? Good to see you. Alphonse, how are you, Alphonse? Good to see you. Mamba P, good to see you. Elbeth Walker. And let's see, ladies and gentlemen, in case you just came in, we're going to be having a giveaway today, all right? So for those of you that maybe just joined in, today's live stream is being sponsored by Zimpure. And when I say being sponsored, they're giving one of these guys away. They're giving one of these smoke air filters. So if you live in one of those areas that are getting infiltrated with smoke from the wildfires, especially in the East Coast, this air filter right here is specifically made to take smoke out of the air. All right, they sent me this one. And like I said earlier before, it's an air filter. That's what it is. It's nothing really fancy. You push a button and it filters the air. It's HEPA filtration. And if it's good enough to filter out like smoke, then it's pretty much, in my opinion, good enough to filter out any particulates like spores in the air or things like that. But they're giving one of these away. That's how they're sponsoring the live stream. So if you have not visited Zimpure's website, go check them out. They gave me an awesome discount code, which is just Alaska. And with that discount code, you'll be able to save 20% off of anything in their store, not just the air purifiers. All right. So you can check out the reverse osmosis systems that I've actually reviewed here on this channel, and I do recommend their countertop. I think it's a very good system. I still have the one that they sent me, and I plan on using that one here in the future whenever we need a mobile reverse osmosis system, right? Because we have one that's in place. But thank you, Simpure. I will be leaving the link to their site and the code for anyone that wants to go check them out on a pinned comment, but it's also in the description of this live stream. Hey, Ivan Phillips, how you doing? All the way from the UK. Let's see, Falcon07, all the way from the Pocono Mountains. State of Oklahoma shall not be infringed. How you doing? Good to see you. Outlaw Farms, how are you? Lisa Foster. You know what, Lisa? Every time that I get, thank you for that, by the way. Every time that I do a project in the summer, and I still have one pretty big project to do, but every time that I start a building project, I'm like, man, I just remembered how much I hate building. Oh, putting up the structure is actually the easiest part. It's doing all of the little things that nobody ever sees, like doing the insulation. Oh my goodness, that is such a pain in the butt. Putting the plastic barrier up. Oh my, those are the things that I really dislike. Now, like I'm going to have a little bit of electrical in there, obviously, so I can put a heating lamp in there and put some lights, etc. Doing that kind of stuff, that's easy stuff, right? It's easy stuff. It's not laborious, and it's something that you can put on a radio and take your time doing it and have a good time doing it, right? But doing all those other things like that, especially the insulation, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, I hate doing that stuff. And the funny thing is that I think I have another small structure to put up this summer. We're gonna see how we do it, though. We'll see. It is what it is. How you doing? Good to see you. Oh, Emmanuel asks, how are my chickens doing? My chickens are being fostered right now. All right, they're being fostered at my buddy's house, and I'm actually going to go and pull some chicken duty this week because they're going out of town for a couple of days. So I'm going to go up there and feed them. But I've got a rooster. All right. And his name is going to be Poppy, P-A-P-I. All right. And he's a little blonde rooster. He is really pretty. I was going to name him Blondie. All right. Or Ginger. I was going to name him either Blondie or Ginger because he's a blonde rooster. He's really pretty. But I named him Poppy because I used to call my father Poppy. And my father used to love roosters. So that's what I'm naming him. Yep, I've got a rooster already, and I think I got either between 16 and 20 hens, egg layers, that my friend is fostering. As soon as I get my coop complete and I got the chicken run done, I'm going to go and bring them over, and they're going to come to their new homes. All right, and then we'll do a video, and I'm just going to sit there and watch my chickens for a couple of hours a day. That's living life right there, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Stoppel or Stope. Sean Stope, how you doing? Debbie Rausch, how are you doing? Good to see you. Lori S, how are you? Karen, Nancy, how are you? Let's see. Selena, hello. South Florida DCL, how are you doing? Good to see you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I ended up, let me tell you a little story. You know how I like to tell stories. So I'm going to bring this all the way to the bottom, okay? And I'll go ahead and hold it there. So if anybody had a question and I didn't answer it, just re-ask it, okay? Because I'm all the way at the bottom now. But I'm going to go ahead and hold it, and I'm going to tell you a story. Yeah, Viv, I'll probably end up getting up before the roosters. Because, I mean, I get up early. This morning I was up at like 2:30. So anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, I ended up hiring an editing firm that was supposed to be editing some videos. I figure, okay, I can just shoot the video and you guys can edit it, and I don't have to spend, because editing takes a long time. Editing is like for a 15-minute video, or for that video that I put up yesterday, that was, I think, 10 minutes long. It was about a good 3.5, 4 hours. All right. So easily 3.5, 4 hours, right? Because when you edit something, especially with me trying to retrieve that film that I lost on it, when you edit something or when you see a video, whoever did that video usually shot a lot more of that video than what they're showing you. Some YouTubers like Southern Prepper One, he's great because he doesn't edit at all. He just shoots his video. He's very good at that. All right. I'm not good at it at all. All right. So there's a lot of things that I have to reshoot and stuff like that. So anyways, I figured, man, you know what? if these guys can edit my videos, you know, I can spend more time doing other stuff, and I can record more stuff and share more things with you all. Because, for example, that chicken coop, building that chicken coop, I really never did a video showing you how I did it piece by piece, because it's just a lot of work, ladies and gentlemen. You know, shooting a YouTube video or any kind of a video, it really is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it takes an awful long time, especially if you're going to edit something like that, right? And it's just not something that I'm willing to do. I'm not willing to spend 60 hours sometimes on a video like that, because there's so much footage that you have to go through and try to pick out the ones that really matter and splice it and all that stuff. It's just a lot of stuff to do. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and hire these guys and just see how they do. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I came to the assumption, or realization, not even assumption, realization, that I'm just too old of a dog. I'm just too old of a dog. They try to make me change some things, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. And finally, I was like, you know what? You guys are really good guys, really nice people, really nice people. I was like, but it's just not going to work out. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing that I've been doing for the last 6.5, 7 years. And whatever happens, happens. You know, I don't have a lot of new tricks up my sleeve as far as production value goes, but it is what it is, right, ladies and gentlemen? And I figured that if I ever had to hire someone because it was taking too much of my time, that I just had to look at myself and be like, all right, step back a little bit and take a break. If you have to go a day without putting up a video, then go a day without putting up a video. It's not that big of a deal. And the last thing that I really do want to do is be in charge of someone's payroll or have to pay somebody for something. So if you see, probably within the last month or so, you probably notice that there's probably maybe a handful, 5 to 10 videos or so that are not really the same style of videos that I normally put up. And that's why, because I hired some, and although they were very nice people, it's just, it's very, I found out that once you build something from the ground up, and I'm just talking about a YouTube channel, right? But it is what it is, right? But it is what we've made it, right? So you build it from the ground up, from when it had no subscribers to now, right? And you make the relationships that you've made, like with all of our moderators that are always here. It's very hard for you to give control of it up to someone else, you know? So just think about that, ladies and gentlemen. For anyone here that owns any kind of a business, think about the theft that was committed. And I just thought of this now. Think about the theft that was committed upon the American people between the years 2020 and the years 2022, I would say, with this health crisis thing that went on. Can you just imagine how some people must have felt? People that had their own businesses, that had put their lives into their businesses and were able to pick that business up and make it earn them a living for their family so that they can raise their family. And then in a matter of 2 weeks or so, because that's what it took to flatten the curve, right? In a matter of 2 weeks or so, the population in the United States did not resist to the extent where all of these people that had small businesses lost it. I believe it was about 40% of all small businesses that closed down during this last health crisis we had. And the reason I say last one is because they're already talking about the next one. But 40% never reopened. Just think about that as far as what was really stolen from the American people in the last couple of years. It's not just your labor that was stolen via the vehicle of inflation, but also a lot of people's livelihoods. And that's just what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be eliminating the middle class. And unfortunately, right now, it's been working. It's been working according to their plan. All right. Pinch Runner, how you doing? Elizabeth, how are you doing? Linda Osborne, how are you? Let's see. Aqua Drops says, Rudy, I like Poppy better. You don't need no... Oh, you don't need... Okay, Poppy it is, all right? And wait till you see him. I'm hoping that I've got my chickens here probably in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so. All right, so it's going to be pretty cool. The Prepping Artist, how are you? Good to see you. Chance Paladin, how are you? How you doing, Dave Simmons? Good to see you. Linda Bopp is in the house. How are you doing? Mario, how you doing, Mario? Karen Zinkowski, how are you? all the way from Noonan, Georgia. Trisha C, how you doing? Let's see who else we have here. Nancy, how are you? Yes, if you have a question that you want to ask or something you want to share with the community, please put it on in caps. Wow, now this is a great deal. I don't know why we're not seeing better prices for eggs up here, but I don't think we are. Eggs really haven't gone down in price here. But Mary says that eggs are $1.39 for a dozen. That is an awesome deal. I mean, yeah, we buy the organic ones, but still, we're still paying about the same price that we were paying a year ago or 6 months ago when they were at their highest price. So, but it is what it is, you know. Not too much we can do about that, but we are getting chickens. So now my eggs, instead of paying $8 for 2 dozen eggs, we'll probably end up paying $24 for 2 dozen eggs because the price of feed is going to be so much. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. Okay, bringing it down some. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure what that meant right there. Oh, Michael. Michael. How's Michael? You know what, ladies and gentlemen? Let me tell you about Michael real quick. Michael's doing great. My Michael man, he's doing great. All right. He's walking. All right. He's walking. I'll have to talk to my son and my daughter-in-law about this, but this is the decision that I made about Michael. Michael has teeth, right? His little face has taken shape because usually when you get teeth he's got his front teeth, right? Usually when you get teeth is when your face starts taking shape, you know, to something that's going to be similar to what you'll look like in the next year and next year after that, right? So I do not want to continue to post pictures of Michael on YouTube here, which is the only social media that I do is YouTube. I don't have Facebook or anything like that. I don't want to do it until I talk to my son and my daughter-in-law. It's not something that I've talked to them about. It's not like they said no. They haven't said no. We don't want you to put picture or nothing like that, you know. But it's a personal decision that I've made. Right? There's enough people that would recognize me in the street. And thank goodness, ladies and gentlemen, that every single person that I've run into in the entirety of the time that I've had this channel on YouTube, every person I've ever run into has been a blessing. They've been really good people. We chit chat. I mean, I'll stop and chit chat with anyone that recognizes me. You know, I remember spending like 35 minutes once next to a supermarket talking to a gentleman that recognized me. You know, I have no problem doing that, but everyone's been great. But you just never know. You know, you just never know if there's a, you know, someone out there that maybe doesn't have all of this, you know, cognitive abilities about them, right? And I don't know if it's a good idea to put Michael's face up now that his face is going to be recognizable for a while. You know, it'll probably be the next few years before his face develops to a different stage, you know, and I don't want some nut out there to see me and then be able to correlate Michael to be my grandson. And I'm not sure if I'm being overprotective or overcautious, you know, but it's just the world that we live in. It's why I don't like going out. It's why I don't like going on vacations, because I just don't trust the world. You know, I don't trust the world, ladies and gentlemen. And I've seen some really bad things happen in the past, even here where I live in Fairbanks. And it makes me extremely cautious. So it's something that I have to think about. You know, it's something that I have to talk to my son about. And I would rather, in all honesty, just give you an update on how Michael is doing. And man, I'll tell you what, I would love it. It would make me so happy to share, you know, pictures of Michael and stuff with you all. It would make me so happy to do so. But like I said, I've seen some bad things in my time, and a lot of the times when bad things happen, there's no reason behind it. So anyways, that's where I'm at with Michael. It's something that I really have to think about, you know, maybe now and then. But the thing is that once it's up forever. right, on the internet. It's up forever. So, anyways, that's why. But he's doing great. He is doing great. He is, he gets into everything now. All right, he's running into everything. I had lunch with we had lunch here the other day, and he was getting into everything. We were in a restaurant. He was trying to go in the kitchen. He was going up to other people while they're waiting their food, and he was curious about everything. It was a lot of fun, but he's doing really good. He's growing the way he's supposed to be growing for his age, and he's just turned 1 here about 3 weeks ago. He turned 1 year old. All right, so his birthday was on the 1st of June, so he just turned 1, but he's doing great. Okay, let's see. Shy Moment has a question. What do we do when there are no more x-ray machines? I just broke my ankle. The doc wasn't sure if it was broken or very sprained. It turned out to be very well, I'm really sorry that happened, Shy Moment. But then again, I'm happy that you're obviously recovering, right? Because you're not in the hospital, hopefully. But yeah, that's a great question. What do we do when there's no machinery for dentists? Get to know your dentist, ladies and gentlemen, because when and if anything happens that is a systemic event, I'm just going to pick the easiest thing to pick. Let's say we have a coronal mass ejection / EMP, and our electricity is gone, right? Dental work is still going to be a problem, right? Dentists are still going to be there, and they're still going to have a lot of their equipment. Most of their equipment probably won't run because it's electrical, but they'll still be able to do the basic things that dentists can do. Take teeth out, treat some infections, probably, if they still have the antibiotics, or you should have your antibiotics, ladies and gentlemen. All right. If you want to support the channel, just check my links. I have links to places that I really trust, and I think is stuff that we should have. And Contingency Medical is one of those affiliates that I work with that can sell you antibiotics legally, all right, with an actual prescription. But get your antibiotics. Get to know your dentist, because that's a great question. What are we going to do when we don't have x-ray machines? What's going to happen is you're probably going to live with a limp for the rest of your life, because your broken ankle or your broken arm or leg or whatever it is, it's still going to heal, but is it going to heal correctly? But yeah, that's the answer that I would give. You're probably going to live with a limp or a stiff ankle for the rest of your life if we have no machines that can take an x-ray of your bones. So yeah, great question and a terrible answer as far as, it's not going to be good. But let's hope that doesn't happen. But eventually it will. I've often told you all that everything is a cycle. And I mean, the Carrington event, which happened in September of 1959, for those of you that don't know, the Carrington event was a coronal mass ejection that was shot out from the sun, and it completely engulfed the earth. And what that does is it interferes with the electronics, right, and the electricity of the earth. And anything that is a sensitive device, and even like power lines, they'll just melt. And if that happened again today with the technological world that we live in, ladies and gentlemen, we'd be going back 100 years. Right? We would be going back 100 years if something like that happened today, what happened in 1859. And that event that happened 60 years ago now, roughly, that's a 150-year event. So we're like overdue for another one of those. So, get prepared now. Where There Is No Doctor, Where There Is No Dentist are 2 books that you ought to have. All right. Where There Is No Doctor, Where There Is No Dentist are a couple of books that you ought to have. Right. I'm not saying that it's going to teach you how to do surgery or set a bone, but it's better than having absolutely nothing at all. But yeah, great question. Caribbean House is in the house. How are you doing, Caribbean House? Good to see you. Jeff Riffle, how are you? Full of Hope is in the house. How you doing? Good to see you. All right, let's see. Let's bring it down. Evita, I haven't seen you the whole time. JR, how are you doing, brother? Man, it's really good to see you all here today. Really nice to see you all. Yeah, Evita agrees. Evita says, I can totally relate. I spent hours recording my cooking videos and even more time editing, and still and still people complain because the videos are well, Evita, you already know that people are always going to complain. Always going to happen, all right? Let's see. Okay, we're bringing it down some. Okay, here we go. We are Sterling, I don't know, Sterlingites. We are Sterlingites. Do you do anything, or do you add anything to your water when storing it for long term? All right, so this is what I do for my water storage. I rotate my water all the time. Excuse me, let me take a quick drink. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have a 1,000-gallon system. I have a huge tank that I have for a couple of years, haven't used it yet, but eventually I will. But I have a 1,000-gallon system because I have to haul my own water. But at any given time, I always have at least 700 gallons or more, because whenever or 800 gallons really or more, because the transfer tank that I use to haul water to refill my system is 200 gallons. So whenever I see that I can put 200 gallons in my system, I go and put it in there so I can fill it up. So at any given time, I have 700 gallons of water at all times. All right. But that water in that system is always being rotated, because as I put some in, I'm taking some out. It's the water that I use for my house. So it's always being rotated. So I don't have to worry about treating that water. Every once in a while, I do what is called shocking the system. So every once in a while, I'll take like a half of a cup of chlorine, bleach, and I'll put it in the tank so it'll shock the system. But I don't do that very often, because if you do that all the time, it's actually counterproductive, right? It actually doesn't help at all. But that's how I keep my water storage for long term, is I always rotate it, and I always have enough water for about 2 months of water for each of us in the house, for an emergency purpose, like 1 gallon or 2 gallon a day per person, right? Have about enough for 2 months. So if I were to store water for long term that I wasn't going to be rotating, now granted, I believe that rotating your water is the best way to do it. But if I was going to store, let's say, for example, in one of those blue barrels, right, that are plastic, that they're made for water. If I was going to store water in there for long term, first I would just use tap water and nothing else. Because tap water, and you would have to check with your municipality, tap water usually already has chlorine in it, right? So if it's already got chlorine in it that your utility company put in there, you don't really need to add anything else. But what I would do is I would, put my 55-gallon drum away, and I would make sure that every 6 months I would rotate that water out. Right. So every 6 months, if you haven't had to use it, I would rotate it out, use it to flush your toilet for whatever it is, garden, whatever. And then I would go ahead and put a new batch of water in there. They do sell some treatments that you can put in there, and the water will last like a year or two. But in all actuality, I would just rather rotate that water. It's just the easiest way for you to store water for long term, right? A great way to store water for long term is if you have a pool. If you have a pool, that's a great way to store water for long term. But what I would do is if that was one of the things that I was doing to store water for long term, is I would make sure that I have a reverse osmosis water system that I can use during a grid down situation, right? Because that reverse osmosis system is going to take everything out of that water, and just leave you pretty much the closest thing to pure water that you can have, besides a what do you call it? What do you call when you heat the water up? You know what I mean? Distiller. Besides distilling the water, right? An RO is going to give you the purest water besides distilling it. All right. And there's several RO systems that Simpure makes a great RO system for a very good price. I mean, like a really, really good price. And they sell the RO system that brings the cartridge that adds minerals back to the water. So you don't have to worry about electrolytes. The one that I have doesn't add any minerals back to the water, but they sell both at Simpure at a really good price. But always have that available. That way, if you don't use it on a regular basis, have it just in case you need it. All right. And even if I was storing water for like long term, let's say in a blue barrel or something like that, if I had to use that water for an emergency, I would still put it through a filter just to make sure. Man, I hope that helped. I hope that helps. And one thing that I would never do to store water to drink and use for cooking for long term, I would never use bottled water. You know, the little bottled water that's plastic. I would never use those for long term storage. All right, that plastic is very thin, and if it's not in a very dark place and cool place, the chemicals from that plastic can very easily, gas off into that water. So I would never store those for long term. That's just personal preference, but I just wouldn't store them. And the reason I started thinking that way is, if you all remember Hurricane Maria, when it hit Puerto Rico, and then like a year later or so, a news camera, a news agency went down there, and they're like, look at all of these pallets of water. It's ruined now. It's been sitting out here in the sun for a year. Now it's all ruined. And I'm like, well, how can the pallet of water be ruined? They're in bottles. Well, that sun was beaming down on those bottles, and I'm sure that those bottles were gassing off. And that's why those pallets of water were ruined. It's because they were in the hot sun. Now, if that ruins the water inside those bottles because the sun is making that plastic gas off, then I really don't want to be storing my water in anything that's that kind of a plastic or that flimsy of a plastic. Putting it in a blue 55-gallon drum is a little different because it's got very thick plastic, all right? And that doesn't gas off as easy as that flimsy plastic that they use for bottled water. I know that was a very long answer to a short question. Let's see. Be free, be frugal. Do you have a picture of the rooster? I do not have a picture of the rooster, all right? But I should have my chickens and my rooster here, I would say, within the next couple of weeks, all right? And you better believe that as soon as I get them here and they're settled in, that I'll be putting up a video. Wow. Oh, so you see, it's different in different places. Look at this. This is a great deal. 6 dozen eggs at Walmart in Florida, $6.02. That is, you're making me jealous, ladies and gentlemen. That's awesome. Oh, there you go. So there you go to the person that asked the question. Dry Element has a product that you add to water, and it's called RESQ, and it keeps water good for up to 5 years. There you go. But even with this, ladies and gentlemen, I would still filter the water before I used it if I had to use it for an emergency. The last thing that you want is to get sick from water during an emergency, during a crisis. So it doesn't really cost very much for you to take water that you had filtered, water that you had treated, and just put it through a filter anyways. It's really not going to hurt anything. So why not just do it? Let me see. Full of Hope says no Funky Prepper tonight. You know what? Darren over at Funky Prepper, he emailed me and wanted me to come on, and I think that we got our messages crisscrossed because I told him I would love to come on with him. Last time I came on with Funky Prepper with Darren, man, he's just a really good guy, man. And I saw that he's got over 100,000 subscribers now, so that is awesome, man. Very, very happy for Funky. But we'll get together and we'll do a collaboration here soon. Let me see. Where are we at? We're at 53 minutes. Do you all want to do that giveaway now? Let me see. Let me try to work my way down. I'm a few minutes behind. I'll try to work my way down. People are still saying eggs, good deal, 99 cents a dozen. Man, ladies and gentlemen, what I tell you, we're in a bit of a respite. But you have to understand that governments thrive on crises. So keep your head on a swivel and continue to prep. Do not get complacent now, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Do not get complacent now. Continue to prep. Keep your head on a swivel. Right? Because anything can happen at any time. Lady Freedom, eventually, yes. Eventually, I want to incubate eggs. That way, I can get my own meat birds instead of having to buy them. So if I can incubate some eggs, I can get my own meat birds for the year, and instead of having to buy them, locally. That'd be great. And it'd be a great way to also make a little bit of a side hustle by selling those little chicks, selling them locally, or maybe trading them. Yeah, I think that would be great. I would love to do that. Sven Holgrim, how are you doing, Sven Holgrim? All the way from Norway. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, it's good to see you. I'm glad that you made it over here today. Well, I've got a lot of plans for these chickens. I'm hoping that the world doesn't fall apart before I can get my things straightened out and put in place. I do want to build excuse me about that. I do want to build a mealworm farm for my chickens. Mealworms are very easy to farm. You don't need a lot of room to do it. And if I can do that, it would be a nice treat for the chickens every once in a while. And of course, I'm going to get the other stuff for them, but I want to make it to where if everything does go south and I can't like go get grains or anything like that, that my chickens can survive off of what we got here. I know that chickens love rice. All right. So all that rice that I've got prepped that I can no longer eat because of my diabetes, the chickens will be enjoying. And of course, chickens pretty much eat anything. They eat anything, including roadkill. All right. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun having those. What's the best solar generator for just a simple fan or Christmas lights when the power goes out? Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many darn brands, all right? But if you're just looking something for a fan, a simple fan, you're looking at about 35 watts, 35, 30 watts, which is not a lot. Christmas lights, for if the lights go out, you're looking at what, maybe 10 watts? If it's like a 50-foot roll, if it's the LED. If it's the LED, you're looking at maybe 10 watts. You're not looking at anything that's very big at all. So a very simple solar generator that you can get that's pretty low price is this guy right here. Where is it? That's the Mighty Mouse. I call it the Mighty Mouse, but that's the Opus 600. 600 watts. And you can see that I've got the air filter that Simpure sent me. I got it hooked up to that because that air filter on low is only 15 watts. Right? So it only draws 15 watts on low. So something like this right here will give you plenty of light and plenty of fan for a long time, all right, should the lights go out. So for example, 600 watt hours, and if you have a box fan that usually runs around 25, 30 watts, you're looking at roughly 20 hours of runtime, all right, for something like this. And they're like $300 and something. You can take a look at the link that I have, and I think it's AP23 that is like it's a 23% off code or something like that off of them. But you can go to the site and check them out. I like the Opus brand. I really do. However, I am going to get on Opus here pretty soon because what I've noticed about Opus, ladies and gentlemen, and I usually don't talk bad about Opus because I think they make a very good product, especially the Mega 5, the one down here. That thing is awesome. But what I've noticed about Opus is, and I have to talk with them about this, is that they are not innovating. All right. They've got the Mighty Mouse. I call it the Mighty Mouse, the 600. They got the 1200. They've got the 1800. They've got the 2400 right here. All right. But they're the same models that they came out with a couple of years ago. They have not upgraded these models. No, they're good models. I use them all the time. It's a good product. But I would really like to see an Opus 2400 that's maybe let me see, uninterrupted power supply, UPS, or emergency power supply. I would love to see that. I would love to see an Opus 2400 that's a fast charge unit, that will charge in an hour and a half instead of 10 hours. I would really like to see that. So they have to innovate. In this kind of a market where there's a lot of competition, if you don't innovate and think outside the box and are always producing something new, then someone else is going to take your market share. Right. So although they have an incredible, the Opus Mega 5 is an awesome system. And I believe it's very well priced for what it can do. I mean, 4,000 watts continuous. It has a continuous output of 4,000 watts. Right. It's a great system. But I do believe that there are other ones like these guys here. They need to innovate. They need to start changing them and making things on them that are better than what they are now. Right, not saying that they're not good, and they're still good. I still recommend them. And the Mighty Mouse here is something that will fit that need, that will fit that use case for lights and a fan. But I do have a couple of solar generators that I'm waiting for that I'm going to be reviewing. And I'm very excited about 3 solar generators that I'm going to be reviewing. I think it's 3 of them. One of them is waterproof. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one of them is waterproof. The other one will actually operate in negative degree temperature. So I think it's like up to negative 14 degrees Fahrenheit. It will operate, so negative 14 or below 0. So I'm pretty excited to be getting those so that I can review those. Oh, look at that. When I get too many eggs, I scramble them and feed them back to the chickens for protein. Yeah, and you can also, I've heard that you can also crush the shells and put it back in their food if you like make them into powder, and it gives them that extra calcium. All right. Well, I got a couple of dogs. I would have no problem when I get extra eggs because the dogs will eat the eggs. They'll eat anything. Hey, Bonnie Bethel, how are you? Good to see you. Pony Girl is here. How you doing, Pony Girl? NC, how are you? Penny Willis, hello. How are you? Houston, Texas, 101 degrees, says Matthew. Man, better you than me, Matthew. What's the temperature? It is very hot, ladies and gentlemen. It is a very hot day today. Look at this. 73 degrees. 73. That is hot. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to have to go inside and turn the air conditioner on. But we actually have a nice little crosswind right now. Yeah, I know. This kind of breaks my heart, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for that, Aqua Drops. I would rather not see pics of Michael and know he's safe. I know. Yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I really, really enjoy sharing, his pictures and stuff with you all. I really do. But we'll see. Okay. Okay, so we're at a little bit over an hour. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this giveaway. I'm scrolling down just in case I missed anyone. Margarita Castaneda, how are you doing? Good to see you. Very nice to see you. Cheryl Fatigue, how are you doing? Good to see you. Captain Coral, it's me, Heather. How are you? Your grandson will be 4 on the 29th, so in 6 days. Well, happy birthday in advance to your grandson. It's me, Heather. Happy birthday to him. That's awesome. Let's see. Okay. I have no idea what this is, Captain Coral. Have you been watching Bethos Coup? No. I could probably look that up after we're done here. Sounds interesting. All right. Let's see. Linda, how are you, Linda? Are you going to do low carb recipes at all? Well, Linda, the thing is about low carb recipes is that, yeah, the recipe is really simple. It's pretty much the same every day. Let me tell you what I ate for lunch today. What I ate today. I already ate and I'm done eating for the day. I might have a little bit of cheese later on for like a snack if I feel like it. Most of the times I don't, but I might have a little, maybe an ounce or 2 ounces of cheese. But today, what I ate was I ate a pound of burger that has liver in it. So I went to my local butcher, Tommy G's, and I had him make me 20 pounds of burger that had 10% liver in it. And I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it's delicious. I hate liver, but that 10% liver in that burger that he made me half pound burger patties. So he made me 8-ounce burger patties. That 10% liver in there, it just makes it taste so good. I love it. All right. So I ate a pound of burger and then I ate about a half a pound of breakfast sausage because my wife took one of those 3-pound blocks of breakfast sausage and made patties out of them. And I grilled the burger outside. So I had me a pound of burger and a half a pound of bacon of breakfast sausage. And that's it. So that's why I really don't do too many cooking videos because it's just meat. Tomorrow I'll probably have a pound and a half of ribeye or a pound and a half of New York strip, something like that. Another thing that I eat on a regular basis is it's not always ribeye, ladies and gentlemen. All right, believe it or not, I love ribeye, but I can't afford to eat it every single day. So another thing that I eat on a regular basis is hamburger. So you know the hamburger that they sell at Costco's, and they're the little bricks. They're like 1.5 pound bricks. They come in. There's it's like $25 for 3 of them. I'll have one of those bricks for a meal for the day. That's all I'll eat in a day. Or I'll also have the frozen patties that they sell that are grass fed, grass finished, and they come in 1/3 pound patties at Costco. That's a really cheap way of being able to eat grass-fed, grass-finished beef is by buying those frozen patties because they're all organic. They're like good stuff, and I think it's 15 patties for $25. So usually, whenever I eat those, I'll eat 4 or 5 of those patties, and that's what I eat for the day. All right, so I don't eat very much chicken or pork. Pork doesn't really do me very well. Whenever I eat pork, usually it doesn't really do my stomach really good. I'll eat it once in a while, and almost every time that I eat it, it's not great. So I almost don't eat it at all. It's like I don't have any pork in my freezer. I don't have any pork in my freezer. And chicken is okay, but the problem with chicken is it's not fatty enough. There's not enough fat in it. So whenever I eat chicken, I try to eat extra fat, either butter or tallow or something. Because my goal is always to eat at least 1 gram of fat for every gram of protein. So if I'm eating, let's say 150 grams of protein that day, then I want to make sure that I eat at least 150 grams of fat so that I can have a ratio of fat to protein calorie-wise of 70% fat, 30% protein as far as the calories go. All right, so that's why I really haven't been making too many videos as far as cooking, is because all I'm doing is just eating meat and salt and my electrolyte water. This is what I have in here. This is my electrolyte water. And that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Very rarely have I gone out. Like we went out to dinner here a while back, a few days ago or a week ago, I think it was. And I had a diet Pepsi, I think it was. But very rarely will I have like a diet soda. I know they're terrible for you, but it's something that I have very rarely compared to what I used to have, where I used to have 4 or 5 of those darn things every day. Now I maybe have 1 or 2, maybe a month. Sometimes I'll go 2 months without having a soda. I would say that in the last 6 months, I've probably had maybe 4 or 5 sodas in the last 6 months. All right. And although I still know that they're bad for you, ladies and gentlemen, you got to smell the roses a little bit. You got to have a little bit of something once in a while that you like, that you're going to like, even if it is bad for you. Right. But that's why I haven't been doing videos like that. But let's see. I'm going to bring this down, ladies and gentlemen, and I am going to go ahead and I'm going to do that giveaway. So listen, if you want to enter, let me go ahead and show you real quick what we're giving away. Let me share this with you. Let me share the giveaway with you. Share screen. Boom. Okay. Okay, so this is what we're giving away, ladies and gentlemen. One of these MS-18 smoke eater HEPA air purifier. All right, so what's going to happen is you have to live in the continental United States. All right, you have to live in the U.S. And if you win, all I need is your information, and I need to be able to forward it to Simpure. All right, for those of you that have been here for a while, you know that Simpure has done a whole bunch of giveaways. All right, I need to be able to forward your information to Simpure, and they'll ship it right to you free of cost. It's not going to cost you a penny. All right, and as you can see, I just think this is a great price. They have them on sale for $100, but even though they have them on sale for $100, if you use my code Alaska, it's an additional $20 off, 20% off. So it's a pretty good deal, I think, if you're looking for it. All right, so let me go ahead and show you also. Let me go ahead and show you what I really like Simpure for. This is what I really like them for right here. And that's this. So Simpure's, let me see right here. Okay. So this, ladies and gentlemen, what I think Simpure is what I really like them for. Okay. Like I said, an air filter is an air filter. That's great. Okay, but their water filters, these are their countertop water filters, and I think that they do a great job. This is the one that I reviewed. It did a great job. It was able to filter a can of soda out of the water, and the water tasted like water. But they have two of these reverse osmosis that you put under the sink, and I just think that this is such a great deal. It's $150 for a 6-stage reverse osmosis system, and these things last a very long time. I think that if you use my code Alaska, you'll be able to get this unit with an additional set of filters for like $150. So I think it's a great deal. They also have one here where you don't need to have the holding tank for under your sink. But in all honesty, I think this one is great. This is the style that I have, and it's always worked good for me. All right, so this is what I champion Simpure for the most. However, today what they're doing is they're giving away the air filter. So let me go ahead and get the random generator on, so that, let me see, boom, so that we can do this filter giveaway. And remember that if you win, all you have to do is email me your information. I'm going to leave the email address right now. That way you have it, right? This is if you win, ladies and gentlemen. Do not email me right now telling me that you're entering. If you are the winner, email me here. If you are the winner, okay? Oh, goodness. I get that all the time. It's why I say it more than once. All right, so where are we at? Oh, no. Okay, here it is. Boom. Okay. There it is. Okay, let's just go ahead and put Simpure at okay, so that there, ladies and gentlemen, is the code word. Make sure that you put it all in caps, right? Simpure, Simpure, all in caps. That way the algorithm will recognize you, and it will be random, right? So we're going to give it a few minutes so that it can collect the names of those of you that put them on. Simpure, all in caps. Let me see. Ann Palmer asks, AP, have you ever tried Topo Chico mineral water? I really love it. No, I've never tried any water except for my reverse osmosis. The only water that I drink, ladies and gentlemen, is from my reverse osmosis system. It's the only water that I drink. And I very, very rarely, I would probably say maybe once a year, I get trapped into paying $4 or $5 for a bottle of water. All right, I got trapped into it this year. I took my wife and my daughter to see a movie, right? And you can't bring any stuff in the movie theater. And I wasn't going to drink soda, right? Or diet soda. I wasn't going to drink it. So I bought a water for like $5.49 for like a 20-ounce bottle of water. It killed me to do that. But the movie that we were going to go watch was like 2 hours long. So I knew that I needed something to drink. Liz Watson, in order to enter, all you have to do is type Simpure as you see it on the screen. Type it into the comments, into the chat like you're doing now. Right, into the chat like you're doing right now, okay? And that's how you enter, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna keep bringing it down here until we get to the bottom. Hey, how you doing, Ali Rue H? How are you? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Oh yeah, I know Redmond. Ladies and gentlemen, Redmond salt is the best darn salt that I've ever had. I love that salt. I wish that they would let me affiliate with them, but I don't even know if they know who I am. But I love Redmond salt. I would love to affiliate with them because I love their salt so much. And I know they sell those big salt crystals that you can make your own water with. But to tell you the truth, I really enjoy the electrolyte powders that we get because they are all natural. They're sugar-free, obviously, but they come in different flavors. That's all natural. And when all you eat is meat, right? When that's all you eat is meat, I also eat eggs. I can also eat eggs and butter. When that's all you eat and you get something that's a little bit flavorful, like a fruit or something like that, that has that flavor profile. That is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. So I really like the electrolyte powders that I get. I get some from Dr. Berg. I get some from Element. I get some from, I forget the other brands that my wife got, but we tried different ones to see which ones we like the most. And so far, my favorite ones are the ones that I can't remember the name. That's my favorite ones. But Dr. Berg is really good. I've tried Element before, and the Element is just too salty for me. They put 1,000 milligrams of salt per packet, and I'll even put a half of a packet in this entire bottle, and it'll still be just too salty. So I rather eat my salt, like put salt on my steaks and my meat. I rather do that than drink it. So I thought I would like Element because it's a very, very what do you call it? A very high quality company Element is, but I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I would prefer the other ones that I have. Dr. Berg is really a great electrolyte. So I rather just put my salt on my food than to drink it. But yeah, Redmond salt, I love that stuff. That is like, someone asked me once, what's the big deal about Redmond salt? It's just salt, isn't it? I'm like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just really is such a good tasting salt. And if this makes any sense, it doesn't taste salty. I know it just doesn't make sense when you hear it that way, but you should give it a try. If they sell it near where you live, or if you want to go to I know that on some of my reversing diabetes with ketovore videos, on some of those videos, I've got a fellow YouTuber's link and his discount code for 15% off. If you want to use that link and discount code, it'll help him out, right? It's his discount code, and it's a great discount code for 15% off. It's a great deal. So if you want to use that and go get yourself a little bit and try it, I'm telling you that thing is, I love that salt. It's great. Oh, that's great, Sven. I'm glad that you said that. It gives me hope that I'll have a good one too. Nice. J87 Waldo, make sure that if you want to enter that you have the word Simpure up on the chats, okay? I'm going to go down until I want to see if I can spot a few of you that didn't put Simpure in all caps. See if I can bust a couple of you. First let me say hello to Steve. Steve, how are you doing, man? I'm glad you left me a super chat because I can see that you're here. It's really good to see you here. Blessings to you as well. Very nice to see you here. Pony Girl says it's 98 degrees in Arizona. That's okay. You can keep that there. Well, Tracy, I'm really glad that you all understand that. Yeah, I'm really glad. It was a tough call for me. It really was. I was like, man, how are people going to take that? Maybe they think that I just don't want to, but it's just something, you have to protect those people that, people that are in your life that you love. You have to protect them, especially those that can't protect themselves. I have no problem being a little bit overprotective, ladies and gentlemen. I have no problem with it. Real Down Home Living says, I like liver with lots of onions. I can't stand it without onions. You know what? I hate liver. I hate liver with onions, without onions. But for some reason, that combination of 10% liver and then 90% of the ground beef, that is just such a great combination. It tastes so good. Okay, let's see. Yes, Joyful Orange. How are you, by the way? Yes, and that is something that I'll be looking into. Actually, I'm gonna get with the food bank because the food bank does have spoilage, stuff that they have to throw away. So I'll definitely get with the food bank and see if they can help me out when it comes to produce that they're throwing away. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and go ahead and bring it down now. If I missed anyone's questions, you all know that I didn't do it on purpose and that I apologize. So here, Bill Hawk, go ahead and put Simpure like you see it on the screen. Okay. That way you can be entered. All right. I want to bring it down and see if anyone else missed one. because I want you all to enter if you want to enter to win. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I kind of can't wait for wintertime to get back. All right. Because when it's wintertime here, I usually have 2 live streams every single week, Friday and Sunday. But I'll tell you what, having 1 live stream every other week now, like we've been doing it here for the last, I don't know, month and a half or so, it's working out because I really am keeping busy outside doing things that need to get done. I have a big project coming up this week. I'm renting a big, you know, those garbage dumpsters that they deliver to your house and then they carry it away. I'm renting a 30-yard garbage dumpster here starting next week, and I'm going to try to clear out all of the garbage stuff that I've been putting away for the last several years. You know, all of these little things that you're like, oh, I'll use this sometime, I'm going to use it one day, and it just ends up sitting there and just becoming a stain on your yard. And I want to get rid of everything that we really haven't used in a long time and just clean up the yard. You know, I think next year we need to start enjoying a little bit of life instead of always having a project to do every single summer. You know, and then having the summer just go by in a flash, and then you wonder what happened and did you do anything to build memories, right? We have to do a little building memories also, right? Let's see. Deanna Lynn Doby, how are you? Good to see you and welcome. Let's see. Elizabeth says that she bought a Simpure reverse osmosis water system and it's great. Good. Yeah. You know, the thing is somebody got on me once a while back, and I don't blame them for doing so. Okay. Someone got on me and they said, I didn't know that the Simpure brand is made in China. Right. So disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, it's made in China. But in all honesty, really, what isn't anymore? Right. And the thing is that the Simpure brand or a reverse osmosis system, it's such a simple system. It is such a simple mechanism that you really can't ruin it. You really can't mess it up, no matter where you make it. So before I even affiliated with Simpure, I searched around to see what reverse osmosis systems that were made in America, that were made here in the US, what they cost. And there's a couple of companies that make RO systems here in the US. But ladies and gentlemen, in all honesty, I just, in good conscience, I could not promote a reverse osmosis system that was equal to that of one of the ones that Simpure sells. I could not, in good conscience, promote one of those that was 10 times the price. I think the price was like $1,080 for something that was a 5-stage RO system. The same thing that Simpure sells. And the system is such a simple system. It's not like you can mess it up. So I'm like, I can't do that. So I told this person, I said, in all honesty, I just can't promote something that costs 10 times the amount just because it's made here. If it was, I've always stated this and I stick to this. If I find something that's made here in the US and that's the same quality and it's like 25% more, I have no problem buying it. I have no problem paying that extra 25%. But 1,000% more, man, it's just too much to ask of some people. I would rather people buy the one that's less expensive so that they can at least have it. Because there's a lot of people that would not be able to afford a $1,000 system, but could afford a $150 system. You know, and I would rather you have that $150 system that's cleaning your water. I think every single family in the United States, every single family ought to have a RO system in their home. I think that's how important a water filtration system should be for your home. But it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there's a lot of things that we have to have that's not made here in the US, and we have to have it. You know, I don't see a lot of people that complain about stuff that's made outside of our borders. You know, they don't complain about the medication they take. And most of the medications that come into the United States of America are made outside of our borders. You know, it's like I said, I would rather have some people have some things than not to have them at all because they just can't afford them. Okay, that's it. Let's do this. All right, we're at 310 entries. Let's go ahead and do this giveaway. So good luck. All right, let's see who's going to win. Now remember, whoever wins, send me your information to the email address below. And the winner is Corey. Congratulations, Corey. Right? Let us know that you're here and say, yay. Put up some yays. Let me go ahead and take your information down, Corey, before I forget it. And who knows, maybe Simpure will be generous enough to give another one of these away during our next live stream. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Simpure winner, Corey. And today is the 23rd of June, 23. June 23. Awesome. Well, congratulations, Corey. That's awesome. Good for you. And again, send me your information, your shipping information, so your name and your address to onewinnerwinnerchickendinner2@gmail.com. onewinnerwinnerchickendinner2@gmail.com. All right, Corey? All right. Let's see. I was seeing if Corey was still here. How are you doing, Alyssa? Good to see you. Fluffin Time, how are you doing? VEC Mama, how are you? Amazing Grace, how are you? Jay Black is here. Let's see. Michael Eversberg, can I use the tabletop Simpure to filter water that has been a plastic bottle? Yeah. An RO system will pretty much take out anything that's in the water. All right. The very best results that I've ever had with an RO system was zero particulates per million. Right, meaning that pretty much you have distilled water. You know, it wasn't distilled, but it's pretty much as pure as distilled water. Right. However, the older that the RO element or the RO filter gets, the more ppms you'll have. But you have to take into consideration that anything that's between 50 and 200 ppm is considered safe water to drink by your utility company. Right. So if you're getting water out of your RO system that's 10 or 20 or 30, that is still better than what is considered safe to drink by your utility company. Right. So that's why I say an RO system is the way to go. The only thing that you have to be careful with an RO system is don't make the same mistake that I made. So when I first started this carnivore thing, after I found out that I was diabetic, I stopped eating all carbs. I just started eating meat and animal products, and that's it, 0 carbs. Well, here I am eating no carbs whatsoever, and I'm drinking reverse osmosis water. I had no idea why I was feeling like passing out all the time after like the 3rd day. It's because I was depriving my body of electrolytes. I was drinking nothing but pure water. I was barely putting any salt on my meat because I thought salt was bad for you, right? So at the beginning, I was doing a lot of things wrong, right? So, after like 3 days of drinking just RO water and just eating meat with not that much salt on it, I started to dehydrate even though I was drinking water. Because every time that I drank RO water, it was actually stripping my body of electrolytes. So once I figured this out, I started drinking electrolyte water. Man, it's been great ever since. Right? It's been great ever since. And I have great news, ladies and gentlemen. My blood glucose level has actually started to stabilize in the low 100s. So now whenever I take my blood glucose level, whenever I take the read, like this morning, it was 103. And that's pretty normal. Normal is like between 70 and 100. But for someone who's diabetic, normal is anything all the way up to like 120. But I'm hitting 103. Sometimes I'll hit 95, 92. Man, I'm very, very pleased with the results that I'm getting thus far, which tells me that the stuff that I've been doing, that it's working. And if I continue to do it, hopefully by the next time that I go to the doctor and get my A1C checked again here sometime next month, I'm hoping that my A1C will fall below the pre-diabetic, realm, and I'm hoping that. But it doesn't matter really, because wherever it falls, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And hopefully I'll keep getting good results like I have been getting lately. All right. And I'm not getting liver pains like I used to. Every now and then I'll get a little bit of liver pain because I'm not eating enough fat. So whenever my side hurts a little bit, and I know that's my liver, it's because I haven't eaten enough fat. is because my liver is starting to overwork because there's not enough fat in my system to feed my body, and it's starting to convert protein into sugar instead of fat into sugar. So, I'm starting to understand what these little signs are, and I'm starting to be able to mitigate them from happening just by adjusting what I eat. So yeah, everything's working out great. I haven't really lost a lot of weight. I've probably lost about 30 pounds in the last 5.5, 6 months, which is great. It's great. I'm still progressing very, very little. As far as losing weight, I'm progressing very, very slow. But in all honesty, the most important thing to me is that my diabetes is under control. And the weight, even though I'm not losing weight very fast, is still coming down, but very slow, very slow. But in my opinion, that's a good way to lose weight, to lose it very slowly. All right. But other than that, everything else is working out great. I couldn't be happier than how things are working out. Okay. And what I'm doing, some people have called what I'm doing as far as just eating meat and stuff like that, kind of like a radical way of doing something. But you have to do what works for you, ladies and gentlemen. You really do. What I'm doing may not work for some people. It may be the worst thing that some people can do. But I actually talked to my doctor. Before I started doing this carnivore diet, I actually talked to my doctor about it and told him this is what I'm going to do. And he's actually supporting me and checking me more often than a regular patient, just to make sure that I'm still on the right path. So talk to your doctor and just do the best thing for you. But if you're having problems, just talk to your doctor and try something. Don't just do nothing. Try something, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Life is short. You want to make sure that in addition to having long life, that you have quality of life as well. Right? Because one of my biggest fears was having grandchildren one day and not being able to enjoy them, because I would always be sitting in the rocking chair, not being able to do anything because I have chronic illnesses. And one of my biggest fears about that was with my joints, because I have really bad joints. But I'm still able to use my joints slowly, but I can still use them. Building that chicken coop, the reason it takes me 10 times longer to do it than an average person is because I do it very slowly, very, very slowly. But yeah, you want to make sure that you maintain some quality of life as well. Life is not just about being alive, it's about living as well. Hey, how you doing, John H? Good to see you, brother. How are you, my friend? Sorry. No, man, it's good to see you. It's so nice to see you. Thank you, John. Thank you for that. I've been doing live streams, John, every other Friday now. So after today's live stream, the next one is not going to be not next Friday, but the Friday after. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Kate, how are you, Kate? If I had to, could I use the water in my swimming pool? Well, let me go ahead and answer the way I would do it, Kate. If I had water in a swimming pool, I think it's a great way to store water, right? But if I had water in a swimming pool and I had to resort to using it for cooking and drinking, then I would just make sure that I put it to a RO filter. I would put it through a reverse osmosis filter, right? That's what I would do, right? To make sure that you're getting pretty much pure water. Either that, or if you do have energy, if you have the availability of energy, depending on what crisis you may be going through that has forced you to use pool water, get a, I always forget the name of this. I just said it. Get one of those machines that distills water. You can actually get a water distiller, but it uses a lot of energy. That's the thing. So I would rather have a reverse osmosis. For example, the countertop reverse osmosis system that Simpure sells, it only uses like 30 watts of power. That's it. It uses like 30 watts of power. And with 30 watts for about 5 minutes of using 30 watts, you've got about a gallon of water. So that's really nothing when it comes to electricity usage to have clean water. All right. Another great thing to have as a water backup, as long as you have electricity, I'm actually running it right now off of solar power, is a dehumidifier. I have a dehumidifier that runs in one of my rooms, next to my bathroom, actually, in the house. And right now I've got it hooked up to solar power, and it is running off of solar power, and it's making water. So that's another thing that you can do, but you're going to make sure that that water goes through an RO system or a very good filtration system. And look at there, you got water out of the air, as long as you have energy. Oh, Jeff, I'm so sorry for this. I'm really sorry to hear that, Jeff. Yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that, Jeff. That's terrible. Every time I see something like this, I think about my sister-in-law. That's terrible. I'm so sorry, brother. That's too bad. I'm really so sorry for that. All right, we're gonna go. We're gonna go ahead and call it, ladies. Well, here, John. Thank you, John. John says, "I'll try to catch the next one." Okay, 3 jobs and these issues with my spine are leaving me wiped out most days. Your back is still on the mend, John. I remember you talking about your back being out here. I don't know, a month and a half or 2 ago. Well, I hope you get better, brother. Yeah, maybe 3 jobs is a little too much, but I've always said that it's better to be busy than to be unemployed, right? So, all right, brother. I hope you feel better, man. Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. It's been an hour and a half, and it's flown by like that. I believe I'll have a video out tomorrow about 2030. All right. So stand by for that one. It should be pretty interesting. No, hey, Jeff, don't be sorry, my friend. Don't be sorry, my friend. That's what we're here for. All right. That is what we're here for, man. We all understand that life is a cycle, but it's still too bad, and we are very sorry for your loss. So don't be sorry, and I'm very happy that you joined us today, and I'm happy that you let us know. So thank you. Jupiter's Realm, how you doing? Yeah, stay safe, everyone. All right, so for those of you that are new, please stay. If you are new to the channel and you're a new community member, like within the last couple of weeks, or if this is your first live stream, when we do our outro, go ahead and say "I am new" in all caps, so that we can shout you out on the screen, and so that everyone can welcome you into our community. All right, so go ahead and do that. And of course, just like every Friday, ladies and gentlemen, when we have a live stream, we're going to go ahead and have our safety brief. Why? Because it's necessary. First, let me see. John, thanks again, John. Having issues with man's. Okay, so you're going to get it on. Well, let us know how your MRI comes out next time we have a live. Yeah, make sure you join in. Yeah, good luck, brother. I really hope you get better. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, a really quick Friday safety brief. Don't drink and drive. Don't go out there after a hard week's worth of work, right? And try to have a little fun by drinking and then getting behind the wheel, right? Go ahead and have a great time. Drink if you want to drink, just don't drive. Get a designated driver, get a Uber, get a taxi, whatever it is that you have to do, don't get behind the wheel. Give your keys to the bartender, whatever. Just don't drink and drive. Don't ruin your life, and more importantly, don't destroy the lives of one or more other families because you got behind the wheel drunk. All right. And of course, we want to make sure that you're here again during our next live stream. All right. So that you can spend a little bit of time doing a little bit of fellowship with us. All right. So other than that, I want to thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining in. I really do appreciate you hanging out with me now that we're only doing a live stream every other week or so. Again, I'll have a video out tomorrow. I don't know when, but sometime tomorrow. And the chicken coop should be done sometime this week, or at the latest by next weekend or so. I keep putting it forward. Have a great rest of your week, and have a great weekend ahead, ladies and gentlemen. God bless every one of you. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. God bless you all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Alaska Prepper, and I'm out. Have a great weekend.